Hello, and welcome to my replay-through of Final Fantasy XIV. Before we begin, and don't worry too much about watching me make a character, I've got one prepared. Before we begin though, I just want to lay down a few, ideas as to what this playthrough is gonna be like, what it's gonna be about. So I mentioned it's a replay-through, however, I don't intend to give any spoilers. What I intend to do with this playthrough is assume that you know either nothing or next to nothing about this game. I'm not going to treat it like a, guide or a walkthrough. I'm not going to teach you every aspect of the game. I'll mention things as they come up, and maybe it'll just happen to be a good walkthrough for that reason. But ultimately, I just want this to be a video series that people can watch if they want to see the story of Final Fantasy XIV, and that's what I want to do. Now, for those of you more familiar with Final Fantasy XIV, broadly speaking, what I want to do is play through the MSQ and the raids in the order that they come up in. I'm not going to go out of my way to do all of the side content, all of the side quests. I mean, we can always change our minds as we go through. We'll see if we even get that far. My attention span is notoriously short. But for the most part, I don't want to overthink it, and I just want to make this Bono boy and play through Final Fantasy XIV and share the experience with you. This is Indigo Quillstroke. He will be our main character throughout this playthrough. And yes, I originally made this guy because I wanted to do a thing where I played through, I still want to do this, where I play through the MSQ and then I write about it, from his perspective in a journal. But that ended up being more work than I anticipated at the time. So this is something I like to do with my characters when I make them. What's the day today? It is currently the 3rd of May, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 3rd. So the 3rd astral moon. The 3rd of the 3rd astral... Wait, what? Yes, the 3rd of the 3rd astral moon. That is his birthday. Deity, you can choose your character's deity. It doesn't really come up again. It doesn't really matter. At least not so far, or not that I've seen. However, I do like to give this some thought, so I'm gonna go for... Is there one that's to do with, I do like Azema because it's the goddess of inquiry, and that's curiosity. But then he doesn't necessarily look like a keeper of the sun kind of a guy, though. What else have we got? God of Travelers, Oshon. Alright. We'll do that, Oshon. We'll go with Oshon. Now, as for the class we're gonna play, I think I'm gonna be a bard. Here's the thing, I've started so many new characters, and I feel like I almost always go for archer. So part of me wants something new, but I've played all of these. So there's not really anything new left. I do wish they would address this because there are so many classes in this game. However, you can only start from a select few. So we're going to go with Archer. I would like to make this character on Phoenix, because that was my original server. There's no characters here anymore. But this is where I originally hung my adventuring cape. Oh, also, I will be voicing unvoiced cutscenes. Don't expect much, but I will do that for you. I don't even know if I'll do voices or whatever. We'll decide in the heat of the moment. And I will be quiet during voiced cutscenes. How about that? So yeah. Alright, Indigo Quillstroke, let's go.
Woo!
He's very excited. Alright, let's do this. There we are. Here. Here. Feel.
Hear, feel, think.
What was that all about? Don't worry, all will be explained in due time, but for now... Oi! I'm British, so I can do a good oi. You alright, lad? You were moaning in your sleep and sweating buckets besides. That'll be the ether, I reckon. Some are more prone to the sickness than others. No need to fret though, you'll soon get used to it. Feeling better, Kupo? Aha! You can see us! I had a feeling you could, Kupo. We're Moogles, and we live in this wood. Normal folks can't see or hear us, which makes you special, Kupo. And seeing as how you're special, maybe you can tell us something. The wood's been restless of late. Lots of strange things happening. Have you chanced to witness anything suspicious, Kupo? But of course you haven't. You've only just arrived. Well, there's nothing for it then. We'll just have to keep looking. Nice to meet you, Kupo. Just another day in Eorzea. Gridania's still a fair way off in case you were wondering. Seeing as you're awake, how about you accompany me till we get there? Them young'uns don't much care for conversation, see? Brement's the name, and peddling's me trade. As for your good self, judging by your unusual garments, I'd say you were one of them you adventurers. Am I warm? I knew it! Going wherever the wind blows, seeking fortune and glory, now that's what I call living. So long as you can avoid dying, I mean. Ain't no secret that adventuring's a risky business, these days especially. What was it that first attracted you to it? Alright, now we get the chance to choose our answer. Why did we become an adventurer? Good question. Indigo Quillstroke, I think he just wants to experience the world. And that's not really here, so we're just gonna not answer. He doesn't really know, maybe. Well, if you ain't inclined to tell, I ain't about to pry. Might be his old Brement's a chatterbox, but he sure as hell ain't no busybody. We all have a secret or three, don't we? Me? Dozens. And I'd rather they stayed secret too, which is why I don't go sticking my nose in where it ain't welcome. Just remember though, there's more important things than fortune and glory, such as breathing. Ain't no profit in being dead, and that's a fact. Halt! Go no further. What's this then? Whoa! What's going on? A skirmish has broken out up ahead with the XIV. For your own safety, you must remain here until... Bloody hells! We shall hold them here. Try to break clear. Drama. Drama is unfolding. That was too bleeding close. Nice of the XIV to send us a welcoming party though, eh? Joking aside, this won't be the last time you meet those feathered fiends, so just you take care, alright? By the by, is this your first trip to Gridania? For Indigo? Yes. It is! Well then, let this journeyed itinerant tell you the ins and outs of your destination. The city of Gridania lies slap bang in the middle of the Black Shroud, the biggest, lushest forest in all Eorzea. Though it ain't near as lush as it used to be, saying that, not since the calamity laid half of it to waste. The destruction prompted a herd of new nasties to move, and gave the XIV unneeded encouragement. Birdman raids have become a daily occurrence. Ah, at long last. Behold Gridania, the forest nation blessed by the elementals.
The Black Shroud, the ancient forest, close to the heart of Eorzea. Beneath the boughs of its towering trees lies the woodland city-state of Gridania.
It's like, do I have to click?
Once a sanctuary from the world beyond the hedge, even the mighty elementals, eternal guardians of the forest, could not forestall the coming of the seventh umbral era. However, the goddess Nofika was never one to forsake her children, and today she welcomes another brave soul. One who may yet play a telling role in the tale of this great realm.
And here's where we part ways, son. I'm off to the markets to deliver me wares when it's back to the high road for me. Here, I want you to have this, by way of thanks for keeping me company. Hey, you never did tell me your name, did you? Well, here's an idea. Become the sort of storied personage I can brag about having met, and I'll consider us square. Square Enix, perhaps?
May the matron take him to her bosom, that he may never want. And in his heart, sow serenity, purity, and sanctity.
Final Fantasy XIV. I've never loved that logo, by the way, with the line in the middle. It looks like it's 15, but for some reason it's got a line in the middle. But that's just a personal gripe. I'm afraid this playthrough will be shot through with my own opinions here and there. It's unavoidable. Ah, Gridania. I love Gridania. I know people call it the worst starter zone or the worst, like, base game city. I started here and I've always loved it. It's very nostalgic for me. The music is real nice too. You there? Yes, you! Your face is not known to me. Newly come to the city, no doubt. I am Bertinant, a wood whaler of Gridania. It is my duty to protect our nation from her enemies while welcoming those who may yet prove her friends. Let us see which you are. Oh, fella, you have no idea. Neither do I. Welcome to Gridania, a vibrant forest nation cradled in the bosom of nature. Please select the control scheme you wish to use. I did actually consider the idea of using a gamepad for this, just to kind of be a little bit more relaxed. But now we'll go mouse and keyboard. All right, we're gonna skip most tutorial-y things because I know how to play this game. You'll also notice I already have a bunch of icons here on my bars. I imported character data from my main because that allows me to have my keybinds and everything, and it just makes life easier. So what I'll do for the sake of this playthrough is I will remove everything that we don't have, which I believe is everything except this, right? Yeah. But I'll leave this here. That's what we'll do. But it also means I have like lots of gear loadouts and stuff that I don't need. But I'll deal with those as they come up. So, Bertinant, what have you got to say to me? To be recognized as an adventurer in the city-state of Gridania, you must first register yourself with the Adventurers Guild. An evergreen adventurer, I presume. I thought as much. We cannot allow strangers to wander Gridania unchecked and untested. Before you rush off and begin pestering every second citizen for work, I suggest you make yourself known at the Carline Canopy. That's the headquarters of a local Adventurers Guild, in case you were wondering. The Carline Canopy is the building you see behind me. Speak to Mother Mjoln Ruffin, and she will take you in hand. So yeah. You have begun a quest! Use the duty list to help you complete your task. Thank you. So, I mentioned Gridania was my first starting area. The first time I played this game, I started as a Hyur named Korik Mundir, and my first job was actually Conjurer, because I didn't realise that it was a healing job at the time. I don't think they had like the tank healer DPS thing in the character creation like they do now. I didn't get very far on him, but I did make my main character, who I still play today, Tamaris Erathorn, as a Lancer, so Gridania very much my home in this game. Damn, that is a blurry book. Do I need glasses? Well, 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 what have we here? A wide-eyed and wandering young adventurer come to put your name down at the guild, I assume? Welcome. Mjoln's my name, or Mother Mjoln, as most call me, and the Carline Canopy is my place. As the head of the Adventurers Guild in Gridania, I have the honour of providing guidance to the fledgling heroes who pass through our gates. No matter your ambitions, the guild is here to help you attain them. In return, we expect you to fulfill your duties as an adventurer by assisting the people of Gridania. A fine deal, wouldn't you agree? To an outsider's eyes, all may seem well with our nation, but naught could be further from the truth. The people live in a state of constant apprehension. The Ixal and various gangs of common bandits provide an unending supply of trouble. Trouble compounded by the ever-present threat of the Gallian Empire to the north, and that is to say nothing of the calamity. Even now the wounds have barely begun to heal. Ah, but I speak as if you were there. Forgive me. 5 years past, Eorzea was well nigh laid to waste when a dread worm emerged from the lesser moon Dalamud, and rained fire upon the realm. It is this which people call the Calamity. Scarcely a square malm of the Twelveswood was spared the devastation. Yet despite the forest's extensive wounds, not a soul among us can recall precisely how it all happened. I am well aware of how improbable that must sound to an outsider. It is improbable, but it's also true. For reasons we can ill explain, the facts surrounding the Calamity are shrouded in mystery. There are as many versions of events as there are people willing to recount them. Yet amidst the hazy recollections and conflicting accounts, all can agree on one thing, that Eorzea was saved from certain doom by by a band of valiant adventurers. Whatever else we've misremembered, none of us have forgotten their heroes who risk life and limb for the sake of a realm. And yet, whenever we try to say their names, the words die upon our lips. And whenever we try to call their faces to mind, we see naught but silhouettes amidst the blinding glare. Thus have these adventurers come to be known as the Warriors of Light. Pray do not feel daunted by the deeds of legends. We do not ask that you become another Warrior of Light, only that you do what you can to assist the people of Gridania. Great or small, every contribution counts. I trust you will play your part. All that's left then is to conclude the business of registration. Here's a quill. Scroll your name right there. Oh, and I would appreciate it if you used your real name. There is a special place in the 7th Hell for those who use amusing aliases. I do have a Lalafell called Squelchy Buttfarts that I've never played, and every time I move to EU realms, I forget he's there. Indigo Quillstroke, and you're quite sure that isn't an amusing alias? Very well, from this moment onwards you are a registered adventurer of Gridania, nation blessed of the elementals and the bounty of the Twelveswood. The guild expects great things from you. Look at what just arrived, another goddamned adventurer. Don't you start with that. Adventurers are the very salve that Gridania needs. The Elder Seedseer herself bade us welcome them with open arms. Do you mean to disregard her will? Of course not. Lest you forget, it is my sworn duty to uphold the peace. Am I to blame if outsiders bring mistrust upon themselves? You, adventurer, mind that you do not cause any trouble here, or I shall personally cast you out of this realm and into the 7th Hell. Charming. Ahem, pray that outburst no mind. He meant only to counsel you. Suspicious characters have been prowling with Twelveswood of late, you see, and the Wood Whalers feel they cannot afford to take any chances. As is often the way with folk who live in isolation, Gridanians are wont to mistrust things they do not well know, your good self included. Fear not, however. Given a catalogue of exemplary deeds, and no more than a handful of years, the locals will surely warm to you. On behalf of my fellow citizens, I welcome you to Gridania. May you come to consider our nation as your own in time. Oh, Mother Mion, I already do. Now then, you may depend on old Mother Mion to teach you a few things that every adventurer should know. And with that, we've completed our first quest. The first of many. And we'll get to see other players out and about. Not that there's any in the immediate area, it seems. Alright. Now, before we go any further, I just want to address, if you're not familiar with Final Fantasy XIV, you may have noticed that so far, it's been a lot of talking and not a lot of action. The action will come soon, but the essence of this game is very much narrative and story, so settle in. It's gonna be a cozy one. Mion, proprietress of the Carline Company, wants you to perform 3 tasks that will help you learn the fundamentals of adventuring. Let us begin at the beginning, shall we? Now that you are a formal member of the Adventurers Guild, we must be sure you have a firm grasp of the fundamentals of adventuring. To that end, I have 3 tasks I wish you to perform. Your first task is to visit the Aephorite. This massive crystal stands in the middle of the Aephorite Plaza, not far from the Carline Canopy. As a device that enables instantaneous transportation, the Aephorite plays a key role in the life of the ever-wandering adventurer. Once you have located the crystal, all you need to do is touch its surface. A member of the Wood Whalers will be present to offer further instruction. For your second task, you are to visit the Archers Guild. There is no better place to learn the arts of the bow. Speak with Athelina, and she will explain the benefits of joining the guild. For your third and final task, I would have you visit the markets at the heart of Old Gridania's commercial district. There you shall find weapons and armour, and all the various items an adventurer might need on his travels. There is, however, more to the markets than buying and selling goods. Speak with Parsimon-Tret and listen well to his counsel. That's going to be, pronouncing Elazar names is going to be interesting. At least we didn't start in Limsa Laminsa. The master merchant can be uncooperative at times, so be sure to offer him one of my famous eel pies. Like so many men, he is much more charitable when his stomach is full. Here, I made a batch not long ago. Can confirm, snacks do make me more charitable. You have your tasks, Indigo. May Nofika guide your path. Ah, and one more thing. Should you happen across any citizens in need, don't be afraid to proffer a helping hand. I'm certain they will be pleased to meet an adventurer in whom they can confide their woes. Granted, the work they offer is unlikely to be of realm-shattering importance, but prove your worth and build a reputation, and in time folk will be more inclined to trust you with matters of moment. I also suggest that you lend an ear to the smith here in the canopy. The smiths are trusted representatives of the Adventurers Guild and are an invaluable source of advice for neophyte heroes seeking to attain greatness. We will not be doing that. We don't need to do extra tutorial stuff. I know how to play the game. Although I believe there are rewards you can get for doing this. I'd have to double check that, but I think I heard someone talking about it the other day. Alright. Our second quest has been accepted. You may wonder why I have an egg on my bar. Any food you eat, you know, first of all, different food give you different buffs. So this gives you plus 8% critical hit rate, plus 1 vitality, and plus 1 direct hit rate. But any food you eat will give you plus 3% XP bonus. Now, the rate at which you earn XP on your very first job isn't necessarily that important, because the main scenario questline will by and large get you the XP you need to progress all the way to max level, but for alternate jobs, which we'll get to in a bit, it's important. Anyway, here's the Aephorite. It's our fast travel hub, and as we can see, this place is full of other players, which are conveniently hidden in cutscenes. Greetings, adventurer. I see you are faithfully following Mother Mune's instructions. Allow me to offer you a bit of instruction myself. I am Nicia of the Wood Whalers, and I know a thing or two about the Aephorite. Yes, that big crystal right there. Aephorites are devices that tap into ethereal energies, and are primarily used as a means to travel swiftly from one place to another. Return and teleport, the most common transportation spells, make direct use of the Aephorites and their connection to the flow of ether. I just realized that I say Aephorites and ether. Okay. And as these devices are found in almost every corner of Eorzea, any adventurer worthy of a name will wish to seek out and attune himself to each one. Truly, few things in this world are so useful to an intrepid explorer. But you need not locate them all at once. Before rushing out into the wilds, I suggest you start with the Aephorites found here in Gridania. Should you wish to learn more about the Aephorite or transportation magic, I am here to answer your questions. Cool, thanks. So this highlights something that I find very cool about this game, and that's that most of the in-game systems that you would expect to see in an MMO like fast travel are also represented within the game's lore, which isn't always the case in other MMORPGs. So I do find that interesting, and you'll find wilder examples of this as we go throughout the main scenario questline. But yeah. It's always fun to see other player characters out and about and see like the designs they have for their characters. Obviously that's like the basic here outfit and stuff. I am intending on playing this mostly as a solo experience for this playthrough. I live on NA realms within the grinding gear community, and I don't really know anyone on EU realms beyond just people I know in real life who happen to be playing the game at any given time, but that's not very often, sadly. Alright, so we now have Aethernet access to the Archers Guild. This is basically just intra-city network of quick travel, which doesn't cost you anything, and is very quick and convenient to use. It's Chancellor. Hi, Chancellor. There are some names. He's not like a major NPC, by the way. There are just some names in this game that live rent-free in my head. I don't know why. Greetings, friend. You have found your way to the Archers Guild. Do you seek to uncover the secrets of our art? Now that I think on it, you have a look of one who has received Mother Mune's gentle instruction. Very well, I shall give you a brief introduction to archery in the Archers Guild. The skills practiced by our archers allow them to gauge an enemy's weakness from afar and turn the tide of battle with a single, well-placed arrow. Should you join us, you will be taught to do the same. archery as practiced in Gridania was born of two distinct styles of bowmanship. The first was devised by the longbow sentries of the Elezen who once ruled the lowlands, while the second belonged to the shortbow hunters of a formerly nomadic Makote. As you will doubtless be aware, both races ultimately came to call the Twelveswood home. Though the two peoples began as rivals, they gradually learned to live together in harmony. During this time, they learned from one another, their two schools of archery intermingling to give birth to the art as it is known today. For a time, the bow was used primarily for hunting, but as the hunters vied with one another to prove who was the better shot, there emerged a group of archers whose ultimate goal lay not in the practical pursuit of prey, but in perfection. Thus was the Archers Guild born from the ranks of the Trappers League. It is the way of a guild to promote greatness in archery through friendly competition, and the results of our methods can be seen in the vaunted archers of the God's Quiver, many of whom spent their formative years loosing arrows at the guild's practice butts. I hope this gives you a better idea of who we are and what we do here. Oh, do I see the spark of ambition flare within your eyes? If you wish to draw a string with the finest archers in Eorzea, look no further than the Archers Guild. Before you can enlist, however, you must gain the approval of the Guildmaster. Once you are ready to proceed, speak with me again and we can begin seeing about your enrollment. Alright, so you resolved to join the Archers Guild. You'll notice the quest marker above the head is now a blue exclamation mark with a plus next to it. This basically means it's technically a side quest, which just means it's not an MSQ icon, but it's one that will unlock something for your character. You'll see a lot of these around the place. This one will unlock the technically the archer's job for us, even though we already have it. The look in your eye bespeaks your determination. It would be my pleasure to refer you to Guildmaster Lucian. Lucian or Lucian? Anyway, lest you worry unduly, Lucian is an affable and kind-hearted woman. Even those of the guild have been known to seek her counsel on various matters, and ever have they been given fair hearing. Lucian awaits you in the training area yonder. Present yourself before her and impress upon her your desire to join the guild. So yeah, as you can see, this is a side quest, but it's also an important one. There is a marker here below the current main scenario quest to show you that you have a job quest available. No other side quest series does this. This is unique to your job quest line. But oh dear, the lighting's not very good on my face there, is it? But yes, this is one of the I would say selling points of Final Fantasy XIV, is that every class in the game has its own questline, which has its own lore and all that stuff, and it's very fulfilling. World of Warcraft did this in Legion, and then never again, and I don't understand why they just limited it to one expansion. To be fair, this becomes lesser throughout the game, and then as you get to the Shadowbringers expansion onwards, it does get consolidated down to role quests and stuff like that, but still, when they add new classes to the game, you get some class quest lines for the first 20 levels, I believe, of that class, even if you're starting at like level 80, so yeah, it's something I really like. But either way, before we continue, I'm going to end this video, because we've been going for a little while now, so thank you very much for watching. Let me know if this is something that you are interested in seeing continue, and if you are, subscribed for more. I would very much like to continue it myself, and so I'll go on and start recording the next episode. But yeah, thanks for watching. Oh look, day has broken, dawn has broken even, just as we're ending the video. How appropriate. Either way, Indigo Quillstroke and myself will see you next time. I don't know why I said that weirdly. This is why I'm ending the video. I clearly need to rest my voice for a minute. Bye.